What's going on YouTube? Dmgaming here, guys. And I want to talk today about the direction that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot could potentially go in and what the outcomes of those potential directions could lead to, guys. Could they stay with Dragon Ball Z? And if they do, what do we have to look forward to? What's another scenario that we haven't discussed, which you can see right there is Toa and Mira's fusion form? Or are they going to go into Dragon Ball Super? We'll discuss that today, guys. Let's go. All right, so the biggest thing, guys, that everybody is wanting to know, I think this is something we all generally overall want to know is the game going to go continuing in the Z storyline, be it, Android 21 stuff, be it History of Trunks, whatever, be it Toa and Mira, which is what I'm going to talk about today, or is it going to go into Dragon Ball Super, into Universe 6 and 7 and Goku Black arc? There are several things that we have to look at as an entirety. And first, I want to cover if it stays with Z. So we talked about Android 21. We talked about the history of Trunks. We talked about all of those things. What we haven't talked about, well, I've talked about it before, but as far as talking about it again in more detail, is the possibility of Toa and Mira returning. Because Toa and Mira, the villainous enemies are all throughout the game. It's not something that just shows up at the end of the game, but something that is there throughout the game. And it's really designed to be more in-game content. For example, when you first encounter them, yeah, you fight them. But as far as encountering them out in the wild, you never, at that moment, you're not strong enough to beat them. That's just the truth. You're not. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting because whenever you go through the time machine, I don't think the villainous enemies are even there. But yet I digress. You fight them all throughout the game, and it comes to a head whenever you have to fight Mira on Vegeta's on on Supreme Kai's planet, man. You also fight a villainous version of Gotenks and Vegito. Now, this is something that at first I looked over a lot. But the more I look back at it, guys, the more I'm like, okay, I didn't really think about this, but they can make villainous enemies of everybody. Gotenks, if they can do Gotenks and Vegito, they can do Goku and Vegeta. They can do Gohan. They can do the movie villains. And I started a series on the channel a while back, man. And I was going through talking about each specific enemy or boss movie villain that's in the game and stuff like that. I went back and talked about that stuff a long time ago, and I didn't pick up on that playlist where I was doing that, the movie villains. And it's here right here. You can view that fuel play. I only did 3 so far. And I stopped doing it. And the reason I stopped doing it, guys, is because they're all the same. They all are going to involve us going into the time machine in order to play the boss battles. But there is a different way that can occur, and that's through Toa and Mira. Point blank period. It's through Toa and Mira, man. With Toa and Mira, we're going to be able to... They're able to bring back villainous enemies. And something that I talked about in the past has been something that exactly has happened with that. In Xenoverse 2, for example, they bring back the boss. In Xenoverse 2, they brought back guys like Lord Slug, like Turles, and guys like that, Cooler. And it's amazing because they haven't gotten to that point yet in Kakarot. I mean, we fought the villains that we fought, similar to Xenoverse 1, but it's very well possible that they could do that in DLC 3. Now, does that mean that they'll be the main focus of it? Not necessarily. I mean, they could, it would make for some interesting things. Me personally, I still feel like Android 21 is going to be the main catalyst for DLC 3, but you know, I could be wrong. And that's why I'm presenting these other options that I've been thinking about, because I want to kind of encompass it all. And maybe, just maybe, through looking at the bigger picture with it all together, we can maybe as a community come up and figure out what DLC 3 is going to be about. But it is also possible that Toa and Mira could be, you know, I hate to say in-game content for DLC 3, but hey guys, they're also working on an update 1.60. For all we know, I mean, we speculate that it could be dealing with the card battles and stuff like that, but for all we know, update 1.60 could be a free update that gives us more villainous enemies to fight and stuff like that. You know, I know people say that Toa and Mira were in the main game and stuff like that, and they shouldn't be DLC, but Frieza was in the main game too, and we revived him. And had we not done that, Golden Frieza, it would have been a lot different. I mean, would they still have done it? I don't know. But the reason I'm bringing up Toa and Mira is because with the DLCs, you can say that they've been following Super, but it seems more they've been following the Z movies. And what's been missing in the Z movies? Yes, the bosses. Broly, Turles, Cooler. Those guys have been missing. And I talked about in yesterday's video. If you go and check out yesterday's video, I mentioned a storyline that actually includes these guys. That actually included Janemba and Broly, and that was involving Trunks and Babidi actually making clones of Janemba, Broly, and stuff like that. I mean, there are ways that they can get the movie villains into the game. My question to y'all in the comment section down below is, would you rather have a DLC that's centered around Toa and Mira bringing back those movie villains and us fighting them? Or would you rather kind of go into Dragon Ball Super? Do you want to stay in the Z or go into Super? Me personally, I don't think they're going to go into Super with DLC 3. I don't see them starting the, say if they did Goku Black, doing Universe 6 and 7, and then going into Goku Black all in the same DLC. I'm sorry, I just don't see that. And then that being the end of the DLC. I would think if they would go into Super that it would be through a new DLC. Yet and still, Goku Black is here. That possibility is still there because they could potentially do that, guys. Think about this. If they did Universe 6 and 7 tournament, as small as that is, they could literally make that in they could last maybe 2-3 hours within the game. And then that would open up the door for them to add some kind of multiplayer tournament mode. Oh yeah, because now you got some more people who can actually fight and go toe to toe with Goku and Vegeta in a sense. You know what I'm saying? But do I see them doing that? I don't. I'm sorry. Why? Because Universe 6 and 7 tournament is not 6 to 7 hours. And then after that, Goku Black. You see what I'm saying? Because wasn't Copy Vegeta like in between that, if I'm not mistaken? I don't know. When did Copy Vegeta happen? Was it between Goku Black and Universe 6 and 7 tournament? Or was it between the Goku Black and the Tournament of Power? I thought it was between Universe 6 and 7 and Goku Black, because I remember Monaka running in there. But I don't know. I could just let me know, guys, because I don't know. I'm confused on that. But my issue with Goku Black, my issue with them going into Dragon Ball Super, is because so far the DLCs have pulled stuff from the main game. So if they were to go into Super with Universe 6, 7 and Goku Black, things would be extremely different. Also, we have to understand this with the Goku Black arc. What are they going to do when they get to the part where Trunks talks about defeating Dabura and Babidi? Because we know that Trunks comes into our timeline, back into our timeline through a time machine that Bulma created. Okay. And we know that at that time, he probably hadn't even fought Dabura and them because they hadn't shown up at that point. You see what I'm saying? They show up right before Goku Black shows up. After he defeats Dabura and them in his timeline, a year later, Goku Black shows up. And we know he's not there in his timeline. Also, not to mention the fact that in the Goku Black arc, Goku Black destroys the time machine and Bulma's flipping out because she don't know how to fix it because she doesn't have the technology yet. But in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot right now, Bulma knows how to make a time machine. I find it very difficult for them to go into Dragon Ball Super, guys. I do, man. As much as I know we would like it, I don't see it happening. I don't even see Super being future DLC. At this point, the way the game is going, building off stuff in the main story, I see them sticking with Z. And DLC 3 could be the very last DLC, man. I hope to God it's not, man. I really hope that they do go into like a Dragon Ball Super thing and they leave it just like that. But I kind of just feel like they're saving that for a separate game, man. DLC 3 is going to tell us everything we need to know about the future of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. There's also another very interesting thing that keeps popping up, guys, and that's this kid right here. Not this kid, but something that he's involved in, something that the Android 21 storyline is involved in, something that the storyline that we talked about yesterday with Trunks is involved in, the one with Shin Budokai game, where in Trunks' timeline, Majin Buu is revived and Babidi resurrects. And guess where he goes? New Namek. Guess where Android 21 goes? New Namek. Guess what Kabuto Kai is at right now in the game? Right now, Kabuto Kai is on New Namek, guys. This is what's interesting about this in Dragon Ball Super. There's two things I'm going to tell y'all. The reason why, I don't know, there is some in-game stuff hinting at Super, potentially. Number one is Kabuto Kai. Right now, Kabuto Kai is on New Namek. If you go into the game right now, he's on New Namek. He says that he's there, actually, he's there, like, just going through the different planets, doing a checkup on everything. That's what the Kai does. But it's interesting because he's still in this form. Guys, why is that interesting? Because in Dragon Ball Super, we find out, we see Kabuto Kai and Supreme Kai, they're unfused. And they tell us how that happened. While we don't see it, they tell us. How did it happen? Guess what? The Namekian Dragon Balls. They use the Namek Dragon Balls to wish them to be able to unfuse. Why is that interesting? Because there's somebody else again in this area of timeline-ish using the Namekian Dragon Balls. Why is it that in the game we have the Earth Dragon Balls, but we don't even have the Namekian Dragon Balls? Could there be something coming to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot in DLC 3 that's going to allow us to be able to use the Namekian Dragon Balls? I need to do a story on that. New Namek is in the game for a reason. I know we had some sub quests there and stuff like that, but other than that, guys, why are we able to use the Namekian Dragon Balls? The Earth Dragon Balls give us 3 wishes. The Namekian Dragon Balls are more powerful than the Earth's Dragon Balls. Therefore, you can wish for bigger and better things. Could it be that somewhere in DLC 3, if they stick with Dragon Ball Z, if they go with Android 21 Saga, if they go with the stuff that I talked about yesterday, if they kind of pull from that Shin Budokai Saga, if they go with some future Trunks, is it possible that we can get access to New Namek and those Dragon Balls? Guys, I'm going to cover that in tomorrow's video because I'm going to do some more research on that, but I want to put that in the back of your head. So if you haven't already, man, sub to the channel, turn on that bell icon so you don't miss the things that we have to talk about. But Kabuto Kai is interesting because he's on New Namek. Why is he on New Namek? And that's a catalyst because in the future, we know in Dragon Ball Super, we learned that he went to New Namek, got the Dragon Balls, and wished to be unfused. So why is it right now in the game he's on New Namek? I don't know. Is that a hint towards something? Also, the community board. Go into your community board right now. Trunks, future Trunks, and Adult Mai have a link in the community board. Yes, they have a link. It's called like Double Trouble or something to that effect. And what it is Mai, she says, do I have something on my face? And Trunks is like, yeah, I know. Pause. Do I have something on my face? And Trunks is like, no, he's all blushing and stuff like that. Why do they have those two having an interaction when they never met? You see what I'm saying? Only time they meet is in Dragon Ball Super. Why did they have that communication between them that shows that there is some attraction between that? Now, don't get it twisted. Mai, if you look at her character, she is that kind of lover girl. Like any cute guy that looks at her or says something to her, she blushes and things like that. She's always done that. Go look it up. You can see that. But Trunks with that response is very suspect because Trunks is you never seen that side of him. That they are clearly showing some form of attraction between each other. And that's very, very interesting because why else would you do that? Why else would you do that in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot? There's nothing in the game where future Trunks meets Mai. There's nothing in the game that involves that. I mean, there's some subquests with Mai, but there's nothing involving future Trunks, and it's adult Mai, which I know in Dragon Ball Super they were kids and stuff like that, but Mai got changed back into an adult. In Trunks' timeline, they grew back into adults and stuff like that, and that's when they met. I just think that's very interesting, and I kind of want to throw that out there for you guys to scramble around in the community and see what you come up with. But go and look at those two things. Go look at Kibito Kyle New Namek, and then go to your soul emblems and look at the link between Trunks and Mai. That is something that's interesting to me that could point that, I don't know, maybe in the future of Kakarot or something like that, there's something pertaining to Dragon Ball Super. I just find that very interesting. But which way will the game go? I'm leaning more towards it sticking with Z. But man, wouldn't it be fun to do some Super stuff, man? We need a Dragon Ball Super game. And that's why I created the Dragon Ball Super playlist. And I'm going to get back into doing videos for that particular playlist. But right now I was working on the Android 21 arc for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Of all the things I talked about, I think the video I did yesterday about Trunks was very interesting. I think exploring his timeline with him fighting Dabura and training with the Supreme Kai, and I think that would be really, really, really fun. And what I'm probably going to do is let you guys vote on which of those two would you rather see, the Android 21 arc or the stuff that I talked about with Trunks, how they could play that out. Because honestly, I think Toa and Mira should just, I would not want to see a DLC revolved around them, because I mean, movie villains are all well and fine, but at this point, the only way to play them in their genuality would be to get into the time machine. I don't think a lot of people really want to do that, because then you'll go back and you'll have Kid Gohan and stuff like that. Also, it would require them to have to fully change up the time machine, because currently the time machine, wherever you go, it puts you at whatever level that you were at. The only two people who can keep their transformations and stuff is Goku and Vegeta, which I find very weird. Why is it that they're the only two that can keep their transformations? It's a very interesting thing, which could lead to more, guess what, Dragon Ball Super content. Why? Because Goku and Vegeta were the only two who went back in time with Trunks to fight against Goku Black. That's very interesting. And when they did, they could use Super Saiyan Blue. I think that's extremely interesting, guys. But here's the catch-22. They don't need the time machine to be able to do that, because whenever they create a DLC, it's always in a separate thing away from the main game. So that's a big hole in that logic right there. But I still always ask that question. Why do they even allow us to use those transformations for just Goku and Vegeta? Why not with Gohan and Piccolo too? I mean, you're going to one-shot the enemies anyway. Are they leaning with something, guys? See, this is the content that I'm enjoying. The research, looking into these kinds of things, man. But I'm going to get into that stuff in a different video, man. Let me know what y'all think. What direction do y'all, honestly, with all the evidence that's been put in front of you throughout these past videos, what direction do you think? Not direction that you want. I'm not asking what do you want. I'm asking what direction do you honestly think that DLC 3 is going to go in. That's all I got for right now. Till next time, thanks for watching. Peace.